everyone else is very, very low.
Okay, that's good to know.
Maybe it will change when the music is gone.
This might be better as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop the music anyway because we're gonna get started as it's only an hour on webinar. So welcome to everyone, and Nadia, I count on you to welcome any straggler, anyone coming late. Yeah. Welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're calling from. Today is the second webinar of a series of three from this little inclusive leadership initiative, which is running until late March, maybe even early April. We'll see. We had a first webinar in December on the topic of communication channels to synchronously collaborate. And now today we're going to zoom in on particularly intergenerational collaboration and to some extent the related topic that we had mentioned by email of how to divide the airtime, make sure that everyone feels they can use the mic and speak up. So not just the most talkative people. And today's webinar, Nadia is going to actually kickstart that part. Is really going to be mostly a bit of a talk show. We had three people lined up. We have now two because one of them is ill, unfortunately, Danielle. But we have luckily Tiffany who will join us and Fuong also. So yeah, Nadia again will tell us more about this talk show where we'll dive into the topic. And but really, before we start, what we wanted to check, as also still some people are coming, is and put it in the chat. A quick question for you: thinking about intergenerational collaboration across Lever 5, what is coming up for you when you think about it? And maybe what generation do you associate with, just to get a sense? And you can see on Nadia's screen the different generations. If you don't associate with any generations, no worry, but I'm just curious about that. So, what is coming up for you when you think about intergenerational collaboration in across Lever 5? And which generation do you associate with? We'd love to see some in the chat, and if there's maybe one or two voices, we can also take them up. Writing, typing.
I saw Nadia talking, but I didn't hear her. Did others hear her?
No, I didn't say anything.
Yeah,
I was just smiling with the. I can share the picture later on the Teams channel or so.
And welcome to whoever just joined us. We're getting started and reflecting on what's coming up for you, thinking about intergenerational collaboration across Lever 5. Any idea? Any question? Anything? Yeah, at least we have a Gen Xer who is declared. Welcome to the club. Gen X as well. Yeah. The best generation. I am kidding.
Once I came into the airport because they gave me this T-shirt, 1978 vintage with like cassettes on it and stuff. And I was in the airport, and so then the guard said, "78 is very good, but 77 is better." Guess what his age was.
Well, Berta is challenging you to be boomers, the two of you. Okay. Gen X and millennial, great millennial. Yeah. And Anna is offering also, yeah, thinking about different values, work culture that can cause misunderstanding, but also enriching it if we are open to unpacking it. Indeed, which is exactly the kind of stuff we're going to look into. Millennials, we don't suppose there's any alpha among you.
Millennial.
Child labor at Lever 5, not a thing. Very good. Okay, and then what else is coming up? Different relationships to digital tools and communication channels. Very much thinking how we see progress. Melissa is offering, and Brendan, ability to use the benefits that come from different perspectives, learning from each other. Yeah, home office or not, digital skills. So there's a lot of different things that are there. And also I like the fact that some of you are officially from a particular generation, but feeling like coming from another generation. So that shows also our identity is never confined to one box. All right, that's just to get us started. I'm going to hand over to Nadia, who will explain to us how we go about this talk show.
Yeah, we are happy to have Wong representing the younger generation, young academics bringing in maybe a different perspective. We will discover this now. And then Tiffany representing the older generation, the elders, the wise ones, or not, we will see. And I would like to invite the two of you to start our conversation with a little provocation from your perspective. When you think about this generational stuff, what is actually the elephant in the room? And I hand over the mic to the younger generation first. Huang, what's the elephant in the room from your perspective as the younger one?
Yeah, thank you, Nadia, for having me in this topic. And yeah, very excited to have a discussion here. And to me, for this kind of topic, I would put more focus on the point of like having like the network that we have within the organization, and that network is facilitate the informal communication. And why? So to me, I think collaboration in any organization is not just about the formal meeting. It is built on informal connection, like the quick chat, casual talk, or spontaneous problem solving. But what happens if you are not in this network? If you are not a part in this network, from my view, not working on the same projects often limit the opportunities for informal knowledge exchange. And broadly across the sub-level, we are not only physically far apart, but also rarely have a chance to interact and share insight. And from my perspective, for the junior researcher, they may miss out some key insights or the career advice, not because they are excluded from like on purpose, but they simply due to lack of the access. And at the meantime, the senior researcher, they have more kind of experience or even more time that working in the organization, so they naturally can have or can build strong connection with everyone, with others. And so, but the connection, I'm wonder if those connections include the younger college, or do they happen like naturally between different like I mean the connection between the senior researcher, are they like across the everyone, or they stay within only with the usual group of the senior researcher? And are we kind of generate a work environment where the mentorship happen naturally between the different generation, or do the junior researchers have to to thrive to prove themselves before they are fully included in this network. And another another thought is that we often emphasize this kind of intergenerational collaboration, but what is the highest priority for junior researcher? Uh, should they should the deep academic engagement come first, or should they also focus on the develop the essential skill like beyond the communication skills? What other competencies should they develop to enhance, to strengthen the collaboration and contribute effectively to the team? Yeah.
Thank you. This is so rich, your perspective, your thoughts, and your provocation and questions, Fong. Before we go enter into conversation, let's give the word to the elder generation, represented by Tiffany. What's the elephant? What's the crocodile?
I was the elder
Here,
generation.
Tiffany.
Can I invite someone from the real elder generation to join us?
You are a younger representative of the older generation.
I mean, I resonate with everything that Fung said. So plus one vote. And I do, yeah, technically we belong to the same generation.
Yeah. But what about this? I mean, Wong shared a lot about, I call it the old boys club, huh? Helping each other,
yeah.
or the old girls club, helping each other and using it as a springboard, and it goes faster and faster and better and more interesting. So what about this from your perspective and all the other stuff Fong mentioned?
I know, it was fantastic, Fung, fantastic talking points. Yeah, I'll just kind of pick up on some of the things that you said that I think are maybe patterns that I've observed. Of course, we are both women from the same team and the same generation, so we're probably not representing a huge diversity of perspectives. Just to put that disclaimer out there, it would be really nice to hear from a more senior older generation, maybe a man from a different sublever could be very nice to hear. I do feel that intergenerational collaboration is not a thing that is explicitly valued. It's not a value that is explicitly described as something we are trying to achieve as an institution or as a team, although it is consistent with a lot of the other values that the team does hold about collaboration and innovation and equal opportunities and things like that. So I think it might be an intrinsic value, but it's not been talked about in the circles that I've been in as an extrinsic goal that we are actually trying to explicitly design for in the way that we design our interactions. So I'm curious, like, is this a common value that we all share to achieve higher intergenerational collaboration in the first place? On your question, Nadia, in terms of the old boys club, I think it happens by accident, right? Because people are social. We are mostly friends. We've been working together for a long time in a lot of different contexts. We don't have a very high rate of turnover in our lever. This is like, it is really the old people's club in terms of like people who've been working in the CG or working in Bioversity or working in CEP for like at least 5, if not 10 or more years. So that forms certain types of bonds, which are also the strength and what allows us to work well together. And similar to like hosting a dinner party, if you leave it open-ended and you just kind of, anybody is welcome, come to the table, it feels very welcoming. It feels like that is an environment that allows anyone to come forward, but that doesn't necessarily acknowledge that certain people are going to feel much more comfortable and empowered in that kind of space, and other people will feel much more reticent to participate in that kind of space. So our interactions, by virtue of being very open, very unstructured, anyone come forward and contribute any ideas that you have, unintentionally block out, I think, some of the voices of younger generations, just because those younger generations are not privy to the richness of the friendship and the relationship that have come from a more natural, longer term of working together. So I think that would be my question for the old boys and old girls, like what are ways where we can intentionally invite newer members of the team who haven't had the prior opportunity of working, side by side with us in the same office before, maybe are not even on the same projects that we're working on, to still invite that kind of engagement. That's a question or a challenge rather than a suggestion. And I think one thing that Fung mentioned on that I really resonated with on the coaching and mentorship opportunities. Are we meant to prove ourselves first to be able to have access to coaching from leadership? And I think the answer should be definitely not. We should be creating an environment where we can provide coaching and leadership opportunities that just kind of create more of a sucking action rather than requiring new or younger generations to feel that they have something to prove. But it's a great point that you brought to the table, Fun.
And I see already some remarks in the chat. Please, listening folks, add it. Yeah, Aaron?
Yeah, I was just thinking because just for your information, we have we were supposed to have also Danielle who cannot make it, but we thought, okay, last minute, not fair to invite someone and ask them to do a provocation just like Tiffany and Fong did, but there is still a space to join us on the sort of virtual sofa here for someone that is not based in Ghana, not based in Vietnam, preferably not from the Gen X generation or millennial. I think you're on the borderline, both of you. So yeah, it's an open invitation. Of course, you can always stay in the back as part of the audience. We'll take your questions in the chat, but if you want to join more centrally, the invitation is open. Let's see. Yeah, it's always a bit daunting, of course.
Can I talk, Ewan, or you said not Gen X, so that's me.
Yeah, I would actually, Jakob, maybe we got a little bit of a plan for you for the last webinar, so we're going to keep you in the audience for this one.
Yeah, that's good.
It's also an overburden of Gen X indeed otherwise, so thank you. I'm thinking, okay, this is just an invitation. Don't feel like you have to pick it up, but I think Armando, you would be a prime candidate to join us perhaps. Although I don't know your age and I don't see you, so I cannot infer, but maybe. And yeah,
we need a baby boomer, huh?
or yeah.
We don't really have baby boomers in the team, right? That's the issue.
Well, who are the baby boomers here?
No, I don't think we have any.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So in any case, otherwise, invitation is still open. Maybe we're going to get our guest to join us later on the sofa. The little difference of this talk show compared to the last webinar is that this is going to be now more of a conversation. So it's not that Nadia and I are just going to ask questions, etc. It's like more conversation among us. And meanwhile, for all of you who are listening to this program, watching it, whatever, you can share your questions in the chat and we'll sort of pick it up. So yeah, Fong, Tiffany, Nadia, and whoever joins us, let's have a chat about what's emerging. And I'm just wondering, indeed, what do you see? I mean, Tiffany, you put out for us. Let's challenge ourselves to think about how we can include more junior members in different ways across the lever. What's coming up for you as a sort of no-brainer, something that can be done like tomorrow, next week, whatever? And the question is not limited to you, but maybe you have a hunch already.
Yeah, I'd love to hear Fung's answer to that question too. A couple like no-brainer easy ones. We have this regular, semi-regular, quote unquote, Lever 5 leadership team meeting. It's nothing really more than just people going around in a circle giving an update. It could be something that just is open to all of Lever 5. I don't think there haven't been any sensitive, resource-based discussions or anything like that I think would be the kind of thing that requires being exclusive to a leadership team. So if we're keeping that format and using that agenda as we have it so far, I would say, making it open and potentially, if it doesn't complicate the logistics too much, possibly even having people from the sub-lever that are not the lever leaders give the update on behalf of their sub-lever. It's not necessarily something that needs to go up through a certain path. That would be a pretty easy one to implement. Also, I noticed at Science Week, in part it was because we had the Science Week in Nairobi instead of in Cali. And so I think the cost per head in 2024 Science Week was especially high. And as a result, the number of participants was especially limited. But there was like nobody under the age of 30 and maybe no one under the age of 35 at Science Week, which is not ideal. And I don't know what actions we can take to prevent that happens again at Science Week in Laos. I think it will similarly be a very expensive place to have the Science Week since it's not our own campus and all that. So can we be intentional about making accommodations in our project budgets to make sure that our younger team members are going to make it to Science Week in Laos? Because I think that opportunity for in-person interaction, I mean, it's one of the things that Peter Lederach did that I enjoyed a lot. Within the first 2 years of someone joining the team, they had to go to Science Week. At that time, we were calling it annual programmatic review. And I think that kind of early exposure to the depth and breadth of scientists who are working in the institution, I was breathless when I arrived and it was like 90 different nationalities and all these gray hairs talking about beans. And I don't know, I was like, what's going on? This was amazing. It was so inspiring. And it was more inspiring earlier in my career here than it would be if now I've lost that already. I don't feel the same kind of excitement when I'm with the gray-haired bean breeders. So providing those opportunities early, I think, has an added advantage that maybe we can consider trying to make up for the shortcomings in budget with our projects. Yeah.
We already have a candidate, which is Daniela. She already said, I'm 24, so she would be like representing the below 25. There we go.
We should make it our goal to see who's the youngest, who can sponsor the youngest person to make it to Science Week, basically.
Yeah. Fong, anything to add on this? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't have any great idea for now, but really that is good point that the idea that Tip bring here, and like as a junior staff, I like to me I also feel really happy when I can join in such kind of the important meeting and to have been updated about the information. Even like I don't contribute anything to the talk, but uh, it turned out a problem that like if like everyone to join in the meeting, but um for someone who are uh kind of very uh like not talkative, like very quiet and um, like don't have the responsibility to make up the conversation or contribute to any discussion. So do you think this is sometime like uh wait the time of the kind of people that people like Because like if we just join at the meeting and just to listen and don't put any interaction or don't react anything, so is this a good approach of like for that person? Because sometimes I think it is quite like waste the time of that person. And another, like, also related to the quiet person, I also want to share one of my view that quite related to my situation, is that because my work is mostly focused on the technical task and involve like less engagement task with other people. So I find myself kind of lacking some skill set needed to have effectively interaction, and especially with the senior colleagues from the sub-level or across the level. And that lead to, and I don't know how to approach to, I don't know the way how to approach to the senior colleague of the other team, or I don't know how to ask the right question, and like to to insert myself into a meaningful conversation. And like not knowing how to approach these interaction will lead to lack of confidence, and which in turn result in the kind of limit the experience in like develop those kind of skills. And uh and this will create a circle where I tend to like avoid the situation whenever possible. Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So I'm hearing some concerns about the waste of time, and there's a question which is wondering whether it's a waste of time for the junior staff being sent or for the other staff that are there. Brendan is also stressing that it's actually challenging. Recognizing what you're saying, Fong, is challenging to also speak up, etc., and that maybe if you show up without having something to present, you're wondering about the use of resources. How about maybe having like making it a condition to participate, that you actually get prepared with the help of maybe a senior staff or whatever, so that you actually prep yourself, and whatever skills you think you don't have, you can actually fill the gap there. As far as right questions are concerned, by the way, I mean my answer is there's no wrong question. There's a wrong approach to taking questions. If you discard questions, that's not a very useful approach, especially vis-a-vis young staff. But if you have a question, it's a good question, because it's a question that you're wondering about, and you need to have some answers to advance. So
another thing related to that is sometimes I feel language barriers is gonna also a challenge. Like mm, like if we cannot express the idea clearly, and this like amplifies the lack of confidence. So we are like quite not dare to speak out, because like no one understand what we are talking. So this one is also, I think, is one of the challenges that we might.
I'd like to come back to the networks. Networks are important in life anyway, and the informal networks professionally are really key. So when we have it about the old boys networks or old girls networks, what about the networks among the younger generation? How can younger generations support each other? How are you networked among young scientists across teams? What role could this play? That's a question to Fong, but also to Tiffany. What is it? Are you aware of options? Are you doing this? Is this happening?
The first thing come to my mind is like, what is the purpose of connect connecting connection? So why do we need to do that? Like when we normally we connect to someone because we have like kind of working in the same project, or we have some like relate topic to the person that we want to connect, and uh we want to get more insight from that person, uh and yeah, and we connect. But I'm not sure about uh the goal of connecting to everyone, uh to uh like we need to have specific purpose, and then we can uh give like effort to try to connect to other. But I'm not sure how we can uh make that connection when we in um like uh how to say, kind of normal more normal life, like when we don't have any idea of connection to that person.
Okay. And I see an important nuance, by the way, that was offered by a couple of people. It's not really so much junior, senior, but more like indeed a sort of the position in management, and also the status of internationally recruited, nationally recruited. Leonard offered something that resonates with me, but yeah, the colonial nature of the CG system. This is not restricted to lever 5 with this distinction, and that's also creating some of these barriers. So thank you for the nuances you offered over there.
Should I add?
Yeah, whatever
Sure.
comes up. And questions from the crowd also, feel free.
I think is Feng Min here, Victoria? I know that she's taking part in the Early Career Researchers Network, which is partly
Yes.
trying to address that. Not to put you on the spot, but if you wanted to say something about that, it could be interesting in relation to this.
I mean,
We're taking a phone call with Fong here.
I mean, there's no perfect solution. We're trying to do something. We're trying to like a panel of young researchers who represent young researchers from different geographical hubs, and kind of gather ideas and get kind of push some changes or programs based on those ideas, with the aim to really represent the young researcher voice from different locations, or people with no location that they affiliate to. That has not been officially started yet. But yeah, we trying, I guess.
At least a promising I'm just wondering also, I mean, what I hear is, and this was one of the points that you mentioned in your provocation, Fong, about is this intergenerational collaboration, is the point of it to advance academic skills of more junior scientists, or is there something else to be found, to be searched in that collaboration? Which is, for instance, how you almost have a mentor that is there, not just looking at academic life, but yeah, communication skills. How do you connect with other levels? How do you also find support with your peers? I mean, just having more of a conversation about that. And I wonder if this is worth unpacking with you here. Is what we're looking for really about, mentoring skills for academic aspiring academics, or is it something else? Is it more like a sort of life package of having a giant on the shoulders of which you're resting?
Yeah. Yeah. So like working in the research center organization is like academic skill is I think uh the most important thing that we always kind of mm, uh, uh like try to have the most focused, but like to build up on that skill, we also need like a, a lot of soft skill to um, um I don't know how to say, but kind of um like soft skill is very important to uh shape uh like ourselves to know, at least like for example, to write a paper, we have to know to reach out to who which mentor, ask for their help to to have a guidance on how to develop a paper or a research topic, and uh, to communicate. We also need like skill um and like like uh like my question is like beyond the communication skill, any other skill that we need to have more investment to strengthen it. So if anyone who can contribute, who can should give a suggestion, so that would be great.
Just a
Thank
quick
you.
clarification question before Nadia takes us somewhere else. By communication skills, do you mean like how to write a paper? Is that what you're referring to, or something else?
Oh, I'm more, no, not really. I'm more mean like how to kind of interact with like if I want, I interest of in a specific topic, and how do I make the conversation with the like firstly, how do I find the mentor for those
Okay.
kind of topic, and secondly, how do I start the conversation with the that person, uh like if like that person across the river, but I have never had a real conversation.
Mhm.
So
So it's more
it's
like the
kind of
communication with the mentor that you were referring to. How do you establish contact? How do you find confidence to
yeah,
discuss with them, etc.,
yeah.
work with them? Okay. What are the skills? Okay. Thank you, Fong.
Yeah, thank you. Let's take a little break here for 1 minute, and I'd like to invite everyone to pause a moment and to, all those thoughts, ideas we heard now, reflect on them and what's coming up for you. Any ideas, questions, insights? And if you have a specific questions, it could be to Tiffany or Fong or to someone else here, an elder generation, whoever, please ask. So we can really invite you in for the last bit of our conversation. So I shut up for 1 minute for everyone to think and eventually to write into the chat. Okay, that was a minute. And there are some questions in the chat by now. We can also have some open mics, maybe. Would be nice to hear some other voices. What do we have here? Anna and Berta and Tiffany were chatting.
Anna has got a question, actually.
Yeah, Anna. Shall we bring you in?
Yeah, it was more maybe that I would like to see also ideas when we see what we can do. I mean, I feel a lot for the early stage researchers. I've been at the same place, but also I think as a being yet now a bit more advanced, you're also really thrown into, let's say, leadership roles, etc., without any guidance or mentorship or help on how to manage people or how to guide people. So that's the other side, right? I mean, I wanna maybe make a difference and be a mentor and a guide, but what are the tools? So and how do I kind of manage this commitment? Which time can I dedicate to this, etc. So I think it would be great to have also some, thinking about the different groups in that sense. And I mean, I had this with Tiffany actually. Sometimes we're kind of chatting. So I don't know what in terms of team communication or let's say decisions around. I don't know. We've had this kind of, let's say, peer advice, and I think it's also a nice way to grow this habit of being more conscious in how you manage the teams.
I think it's a great opportunity for what we call buddy crew, but which can continue beyond this initiative. And let's face it, this is a little bit like communities of practice. I don't know if some of you are part of communities of practice, but typically that time in communities of practice is not really accounted for. So it's like time that you put in it, but you do it because you find some value. And so likely this is going to be something that here and there, you just need to find a discipline. The partners first of all, but after that, discipline to make it happen, because it's never going to be prioritized. It's always going to be like important but not urgent. And so as soon as there's an urgent task ahead, this goes down. So yeah, take some discipline. That's what I'm seeing. But I'm sure there's plenty of other ideas there also. I love the idea though. I think it's really welcome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Then we have a
May I say
remark from
something?
Melissa.
Oh, no, we have more. Okay, go.
Oh yeah,
I write
Tiffany,
mine in the
go.
chat.
Yeah,
No, no, no,
go.
no, no. I've had enough airtime. I'm writing mine in the chat.
Yeah. Melissa, you want to say something more about this?
No, it's more like a question about this onboarding program that I know that it exists and how it feels for the ones that are in the room and if it makes sense because I think this onboarding program it's something like the thing that we need to be introduced to the ones who have more time in the organization and to have this look of okay this in this room we they talk about this thing and this group works in this other thing and it's this tour and this kind of meeting the people that are in the organization but I don't know if this onboarding program is something that resonates in the teams and it is something that works.
There is an onboarding program right now, right? There must be. And
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
okay, yeah. But it could be better.
No, I think it could be. I don't know if we had a time to ask if it feels good for the ones who had to guide the onboarding program, because
Knowing
I
on
think it
Go ahead.
exists there and you should do it. But I don't know how it feels for the one who has to guide this.
So a little provocation from my side because this is part of knowledge management interventions, typical because it's like handing over the expertise, making sure someone comes there in the right conditions. Onboarding programs, by and large, I'm not even talking about the CG, but more broadly, are terrible. They're very difficult. There's always a lot of opportunities for improvement there, but I think one would be indeed some introduction, not just about the formal stuff, but about the informal stuff. In fact, when I joined ILRI, I was talking with some people in charge of the onboarding program and told them what would be great is to have the sort of the black book about, like you've got the formal induction program and then you've got this black book that tells you this is the stuff you really need to know in order to be operational within this team. The person to approach for XYZ, the person not to approach for XYZ, etc. The sort of the real life experience. And I think this is actually what also helps you to get connected with people at a completely different level than the formal picture. But again, just my provocation. Sorry, it's a hobby horse on this. I think it's great. It's a great opportunity in any case, Melissa. It is an opportunity that is there. It's a standard thing. So, yeah. And a buddy program, indeed, Berta is saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'd like to throw in another opportunity that we haven't talked about yet, the co. I don't mean coaching. It also starts with co. I'm talking about co-facilitation, co-leading, co-deciding. If you go really hand in hand as a pair, as a younger one with an older one, and you really do it together as you go to a conference or as you facilitate a workshop, what about opportunities in co-doing things? It's easy, doesn't cost.
It does cost some time, but it
Yeah,
is valuable.
it costs, yeah, maybe.
So, what else? What other elephants in the room haven't we addressed, or what other questions? I mean, we haven't come back to that IRS, NRS, the nationally recruited staff, internationally recruited staff. Is that something we want to come back to? Anything else coming up for you folks? Yeah, integrate mentorship support to others as a KPI. Good idea there also. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I think also to piggyback on Anna's point earlier on, as again from my experience of the CG scientists are when they become managers of a particular team are expected to become managers and have and know everything about management and leadership. And indeed, yeah, it's not the case, and it's not generally supported very strongly in their KPIs. So that's really something good to include. Yeah.
Okay, we're coming surely but slowly to an end. Any last ideas, questions, statements from anyone? We have a lot of inspiration in the chat, for sure. And it's maybe time for your personal 15%. You all, each of you has some agency to act, some freedom, the liberty to do something. You don't need to ask for permission because you have the authority to do certain things immediately. And this is, we call it 15% solution. Don't ask why it's 15%. It's not scientifically proven that it's 50%. It's a label of one of the structures we often use. So my question to all of you is, what is your 15% solution to help with what we have discussed here? Not to delegate, what you personally can do. What is it that you can set in motion just after this webinar? What do you pick from what we discussed or build on what we discussed and make it your own? We're curious. Write it into the chat. I'm going to. I will. Ah, we have a first one. Yeah, now it's starting. Now it's starting. Yeah, as simple as that. Ask. Ask them. Let's see, we are 22 people here online. I would say we will get some more ideas here. I like the chocolate.
Always a good move.
Always works. It's also a win-win.
Yeah.
How do you guys do with eating it yourself? I don't know how to make that work. I've never been able to pull that off.
So many great ideas here.
Yeah. I love Melissa's point also. I would even again lovingly provoke you by saying, just show up at the meetings and ask for forgiveness, not for permission here and there, you know.
Wow.
Great stuff.
Great stuff, which we will save and share back to you as a pile of ideas to maybe pick one or two and try it out and see if it makes a difference. Start experimenting. I think it's a lot about awareness that this is maybe an issue you can do something and a little bit more, where you don't need a lot of policies and structures, but have it on the radar. Wow, there's a lot coming. Whoa, wow. What else, Evan? We have to share what next?
Yeah, shall I take that on?
Yeah, sure.
So it's great. I mean, keep it coming in the chat. As Nadia said, we'll share it. We'll share it on the Teams channel because it's it's the only platform we can post onto. So we hope that you're encouraged to have a look. Let me put the link as soon as I can. What's really nice is I think there's a lot of ideas that might need to be revisited, or you can take advantage of these ideas and revisit them next week when we have our next Lever-wide gathering, which will be around the topic of how to make the best use of the remaining time we have in this initiative with all of you and Nadia and myself. So yeah, it's going to be a great moment between now and Thursday next week when we have that gathering to think about some topics that you would like to talk about, because we have a couple of topics that are on the agenda, but we'll basically invite your contributions for topics you really want to make sure are worked on. And I cannot stress again enough how the sustainability of this initiative depends on you. It doesn't depend on what Nadia and I can do, because we're just passengers in this. We're just provoking, revealing, inviting, questioning, but the bulk of the work, as you know, is with you. So would be great. And happy hour is an offline. Yeah, don't wait until next year or the next such initiative. Do it this week. Have a happy hour. Have an offline or even an online happy hour, whatever. Just connect with each other. And we'll put both the recording and maybe some summary reflections and invite you to continue this conversation on the Teams channel. And you're welcome to export it to your Teams chat, which I think you're using more. And would like to thank in particular Fong and Tiffany and later Anna and all of you for joining us today. And big thought for Danielle. And we'll invite all the different generations in the next the next gatherings. We need to find boomers, by the way, still. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening,
Thanks, everyone.
afternoon, morning,
Thank you.
whatever.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Tiffany. Well
Appreciate
done.
you.
So much.
Ciao, ciao.
Oh, Jakob. No. No, Jakob.
No.
Up.
Okay.
Um,
It's very funny. I cannot save the chat anymore.